This is Eileen from Eileen Stuffs. Today I will be doing my end of the month review for May. So we'll look at debt snowball, sinking funds, other debt payoff, how we did with our goals, and then moving forward to June. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I am a cash budgeter and stuffer here on YouTube. And I am working on paying off debt as well as building up an emergency and sinking funds. So if that is something that you're interested in and you haven't already, please consider subscribing below. May was a big month as far as a huge change. I kind of talked about it a little in the last video, but I'll talk about it more in this video because it's going to start making things different for me in June. And also some unexpected expenses came up, which is this little card I have here. So I did end up pulling from my sinking funds. Let's go ahead and start with the sinking funds. I'm not super focused on building up major sinking funds at this point in time. My focus is truly on debt payoff and managing some big changes in my life. So I think I've talked about this in other videos, but I'm really beginning to see these as like little cash emergency funds that I save when I have the cash, and then they're there for me when I need it. And that was certainly the case the past couple weeks when I had to dip into it for a few things that I did not plan for. All right, let's get out our sinking funds tracker. And we did end April with, it ended with $681. And yeah, so May's definitely going to be less, but some of it's a good reason. I did make a payment to my mom, which was pretty cool, but let's check out. Okay. And this is just my card to remind me what I took out of my funds. So the first one is bills. Bills ended April and May. Bills ended April with $35, and it now has 20, 40, 60, 75. Okay, so bills fared pretty well in May. I actually put a big chunk in. I'm really squirreling away money for the winter, but that's like a $40 difference. Medical ended April with 15. And it now has 10, 20, 30, 35, 40. So we also built medical in May. Now my medicine is actually due. I have to pick up the prescription by the 3rd. But I was thinking, I'm hoping with my paycheck that comes on June 1st that I'll just have the cash to pay for the prescription and I won't have to dig into this. But it's here if I need it. But I'll talk about that more in the budget video. For right now, we're sitting at 40. My savings ended April with 7. Do we have, yeah, we do have more. Okay, we have 10, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so I guess I added $10 in May. For some reason, I didn't realize I added so much. Shopping ended April with 6, and this still has 6. This one pretty much stayed the same. Giving ended April with 3, and I believe that's still 3. Okay, Riley's probably going to be the first one that we take away from. Riley ended April with 38, and she was due for another little bag of dog food. I ended up pulling money from her envelope to pay for the dog food. I think I took the whole 38 out that she had, and then I just had to put, because her dog food was $40.61. So I just wiped it out to pay for another bag for her. And I don't know where my red pen is, so we're going to bring this down to 0. My car was another one I actually had to withdraw from. So it's been raining a lot, and my windshield wipers were horrible. Part of the windshield wiper was peeling off. Totally did not plan for that expense. They came out to $49.54. So I did pull $50 from my car fund to pay for those. So we did end April with 104, but we now have 20, 40, 50, 55, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. I mean, that kind of came up. It wasn't an expense I was accounting for, but it was nice to know that I had the cash to pay for it. So that came out this month. And now my windshield wipers are awesome. That's all good. Okay, family ended April with 152. I brought it up to 332 in May, and then I wiped the whole thing out to pay my mom. So my mom got another check for what I owe her, and that is back down to 0. And what else did I think the other thing I paid for was gas, but I might have just used my cash for that. So I think that was probably it for the for the envelopes. Secret Stash ended April with 15. And now it has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So we actually put in about $21 for that. That's awesome. My emergency fund is pretty much trucking. There is some news about this though. I'll tell you guys about it near the end of the video because like I said, there's some big changes happening that are really going to have an impact on my finances, but in a good way. So oddly enough, I didn't really gain much in interest. My guess is because the amount's so low, but it is now at $306.95. Okay, so let's go ahead and add up my totals. I might actually not be as bad off as I thought. I really thought that maybe I had pulled out a lot, but I don't think I realized how much I put in this month. So it might actually break even to where I might end up with still about the same amount, but let's check it out. Okay, so we have 75, 40, 17, 6, 3, 64, 36, and 306.95. Okay. Well, saying we have 547.95. Let me double check these numbers real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah. So we definitely have 547.95. So there is a little loss, but not as bad as, like I said, I thought, considering I pulled hundreds out for my mom. So last month we ended with 681.32. We now have 547.95. Our difference this month was a negative 136.37. As far as my mom, her birthday is in August. I think my mom actually just likes getting the money. She's like one of those moms that always tells me don't buy me anything for my birthday. You know, I always do, but I kind of realized this would be like the best presents would be just to give her chunks of money, and then it kind of puts a fire under my butt to save. So her birthday is August. So I think my next payment I'd like to make for her is in August. So, you know, for the next 2.5 months, I'm going to try to get her another little chunk saved to make her a birthday payment, and then probably after that I'll do it around the holidays. But okay, so yeah, like I said, I thought it was going to be way lower. I think not as bad as I thought, not as good as I'd like, but if this even happened to me last year with my sinking funds, they went down and up. But and like I said, the important thing is things came up. I had the money for them. Okay, we are going to move on to my debt payoff now. Let me go ahead and put this away and get out my book. I was pleasantly surprised to see my debt snowball is really starting to show a little bit now. Considering my monthly payment on my credit card one that I'm doing my snowball on is only $30 a month. Those extra payments are making a difference. We ended May. My balance for my snowball credit card is now down to $488.23. That made me very happy. When I started my snowball, we started with a balance of $670.23. So it was at $670.23. And it's now at $488.23. And again, I know it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 months. I feel like I could have made more of a dent, but at the same time, sometimes my snowball payments are just a $10, a $20 here, right? A $30 extra there. And then when you have like the interest that comes back, in total, I've managed to pay an extra $182. I've paid off about 27%. Is that right so far? So we're trucking along. It was cool to see it go from being 600 and something to 400 and something, but we'll continue to get it done. I would really like to have this paid off. It would be nice to start moving on to the other ones, but again, we're making progress. Not, you know. All right, so now let's go to May. The first thing we'll look at is what did I make in May, and let me see here. And I'm not going to include my roommate's check. I'm just going to include my own pay. So my paycheck for May 1st was $2,550, and then my paycheck for the 15th of the month was $2,481. So my total pay this month in May was $5,031. And then what did I save? Because I think I saved more this month as well. I did save money. So let's see. So sinking funds, I saved 200. So I pulled 200 out. A bunch of them went to sinking funds on the 1st, 30 went to savings challenges. And then on the 15th, I did another, we have 200. So then I did another 20, 100, 20, 35, 47, 147. So the total amount that I saved, oh, does that include the 3? Plus 3. So the total amount I actually saved in May was 350. So this is the most I've saved to date this year. And yeah, again, this is also the most I've made this month. So like I said, my checks are getting a little better, and yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so now we're gonna look at what were my total expenses. I'm gonna add up the bills, and let me do that real quick, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So my total, which I included my IRS payment in and a medical bill that I had, so things that were a little bit extra than usual, but my total expenses were $2,854.86. And then again, I included the Snowball. So sometimes I get confused if I should include gas and stuff, but this time I just went down my list of all the budgeted items and just added them all up. So this is everything I budgeted on this column for the 1st, and then all of this in the 15th. The only thing I didn't do was the petty cash because I took that out in cash. And plus taxes. So as you know, I am working really hard to throw big chunks of taxes to my 2023 estimated tax, as well as pay back what I owe. So it's been a lot of extra for taxes this month. I took out 600 plus 450 plus that extra 100, but that's already accounted for. So I actually took out $1,050 for taxes. So I have 5,031 minus 2,854.86 for expenses, and then minus out the 1,050 for taxes. So that left me with a balance of $1,126.14. And then you got to, so part of that would have been the 350, right? Because then we talked about we saved 350. That brings us down to 776. Then we have our wallet money, right? So once you take out the wallet money, the leftover, that pretty much takes care of everything. Looking good, I guess. Let's go ahead and think about what did I achieve my month's goals. So what were my goals? My goals in May were to get items on my shop, to figure out how to publish my book, to start working more, get caught up at work, update my shop, and send my mom payment. So I did send my mom her payment. I have not updated my shop. I keep putting that off. It's so... caught up at work, well, that's basically going to completely change. And how to publish my book. So again, I've looked at quite a few publishing options, trying to figure out how to publish my Savings Challenge book. And I took care of a big piece of that in May, which I'll link my last video below that I had to, because I'm a 1099 on YouTube. Etsy's a 10 something. So basically a sole proprietor is a YouTuber. So I had to get all the sole proprietorship stuff done, business taken care of so I can do grocery receipts. I did all that. I'll link the video below. It was really fun. And working more kind of goes with these two. So for the most part, yes, I did, but not my shop. I think on the plus side though, I took the steps I needed to make sure I was doing my taxes right so I can add more things. Okay, so this month's wins. I think this is a good time to talk about. I have huge changes coming up, you guys. So the biggest thing is I got a new job, and it was a blessing in disguise for me because some of it's very personal, and I can't really go into too much personal detail, but let's just say that I needed more money, and this job became a blessing in disguise, making way more an hour than I am now. So the difference in pay is going to be basically life-changing for me. I really like my work. I like what I do. I like where I am, but it was just really kind of came down to the fact that I was being offered more money, and like I said, it was just a blessing in disguise for me. It's going to make things in my life easier, and I just felt like it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So I took it, and starting this Monday, so June 5th, I will be working 6 days a week. So I'm going to start working on Monday at my new job to start building up my caseload and getting myself going while I continue to work at my old job. I will be working my old job until the end of July. I just wanted to like have more time to support my kids and my work, basically kind of transitioning from one clinic to another. So the cool thing is in July and probably August, I'll end up with 4 paychecks because I'll have like a little paycheck from my new job and I'll have my paychecks from my old job. But I've kind of decided that the new job paychecks I get, the little ones I start getting in June and July to go back to my emergency fund, I decided I'm probably just going to take that cash and throw it into my emergency fund because I want to have a 1 month ahead rent fund. Because something else I think you kind of know about if you watch my videos, but I was divorced. My ex-husband still lives here, but our lease is up at the end of July. So I'm about to be on my own, paying my own stuff. It's just, lease is up. It's time to move on and go our own ways. And it's a big change, but that's kind of, why I said this job was a blessing in disguise, because the extra money I'm making an hour basically helps me pay that extra money for rent and things I need, things that are currently kind of being covered by him being a roommate and living in a separate part of the house. That extra money, yeah, like I said, it just came at the right moment, the right opportunity. It's really what I needed to do for myself to have the money I needed to continue to pay my bills. The extra money is going to be really great. And I'm sure it's just a matter of time before, my new caseload at my new clinic gets full. I mean, there's services here are hard to come by, so it never really takes long to fill up a schedule. But I will be going through a transitioning process through July and August. So that being said, I think this month's wins for me was basically I solved a huge problem. And for me, it is meaning big changes, right? But the changes, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but what I keep thinking every day was, man, this opportunity was a blessing in disguise. It came in at my 11th hour. It was exactly what I needed to be okay on my own, to have the extra money, to be able to move towards living on my own as I look to having a new lease, right? Living by myself again. I don't know. There's so much to say about it. And in some ways I can't say anything. I'm just really hopeful. And I know for the next 2 months, working 6 days a week is probably going to be rough. But I think the extra money I'm just going to throw into my emergency fund, which is going to be become my month ahead. I want to have 1 month's rent always there. So no matter what, I have a month's there as a backup. And it'll just be nice to know that a full month's rent is there in the bank, earning some interest and ready to go when I need it. So that is my goal. And then by the time I get that saved up, it'll be time to do the full transition. So big changes, and because of that, there's a lot of extra work that's on top of me right now, just working extra again, working 6 days a week instead of 5. And then on top of that, working extra at home to complete necessary paperwork, get things caught up, transition, move my space. So because of that, I'm hoping I can still keep in June and July my twice a week videos, but there might be a week or two where I only do once a week. And it's really just going to be temporary. It's going to be me I can tell I'm on the cusp of huge life changes, and that might require me to focus on that some weeks more than other. It kind of put my YouTube stuff on hold, including updating my shop and my website. I think that stuff is going to have to continue to the back burner, but knowing that it's temporary. So big changes, you guys. I think in the end though, man, the difference in pay, the extra money, the ability to work a lot and to work with a few close therapists that I really respect and admire in a really cool space. I mean, all that stuff is so positive. I feel like that fresh, happy energy coming in, and I'm excited. But it was also really sad and hard because there wasn't any ill will. It was just, I think, like I said, at some point I had to realize I need to think about myself. And so that was a big win for me this month, actually, which isn't as financial. Part of it, I think, is emotional and personal. So some things I need to improve. I think I just need to get on the ball. I don't know how else to word it, but yeah, I'm going to have to be super focused. Like I said, 6 days a week. I'm only going to have Sundays off for a while. Again, it's only temporary, but it is going to be about 8 or 7 weeks really of it, because I'm going to have to stay on top of my game. So I think I'm going to just really have to manage my time well and know that I'm in for a hard working period that'll pay off in the long run. And then what are the actions I'm going to take next month to achieve my goals? I mean, I'm doing them, right? So I am going to be moving jobs and making big life changes to just help me personally move on. Okay, so that was big. Now let's look at Etsy and YouTube. I made 90 cents on Etsy this month. That's okay. It's okay. I know it's kind of flailing, but this will be something I hope once all the life changes transition, like I think hopefully by August things should be smoothed out a little, then I'll be able to, I think, refocus on this stuff. YouTube, I did get paid on YouTube this month. I got $102.38, but I did not do a YouTube video about it. The reason why is because I did get a P.O. box. I needed to get that. So my P.O. box was like $55 for 3 months. So I basically just used my YouTube check to buy the P.O. box. I saved some is just still sitting in my business account. Most of it's still sitting in my business account for taxes. And I did go shopping. And other than this stuff that I had to get, I bought like 2 shirts. And so I used some of that cash to treat myself to a shirt. The other shirt I bought, I used my miscellaneous money, but I guess I think I've told you guys, but I've lost a lot of weight and a lot of my shirts are getting really big. So I just kind of broke down and bought, I just bought myself a couple shirts. So, well, they weren't much, but you know, I did use cash to pay them. All right. So my mom's lawyer situation. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that my mom gave me $3,000 for the lawyer retainer. She helped me get the divorce. My mom was super supportive, super caring. She was there for me, and yeah, she doesn't give me deadlines, but I think she just appreciates seeing the effort. So I started out at $3,000. My first payment I had made $1,017 back to her. My second payment I just sent at the beginning of May, after May 15th, if you remember. For Mother's Day, I sent her another $332. So that now brings my balance down to $1,651. So I had said in that video where I was pulling the money, I was hoping to get to the halfway point. I'm a little under the halfway point, $151, more than halfway. But I'm almost at the halfway point and paying her back. So, I mean, that is still like a good chunk. If you've ever been through a divorce and you kind of know how it messes up your finances and that it just takes time, I feel you. I think that's something that I hope you guys kind of remember when you're watching my videos, is that you're seeing me in the aftermath of a divorce where I ended up with a lot of debt, and I'm trying to move past it, move on, rebuild my life. That's the phase that I'm still in, right? So I hope that you guys kind of keep that in mind. I think, like I said, with all these changes, I'm hoping that I continue to move forward. But, this past year and a half have been incredibly hard. My mom was here for me to help me through the big legal piece of it. And I wish I would have paid her back more than this much by now, but it's almost half. So I'm feeling like it's okay. And yeah, I'm going to work towards trying to make her another payment for August, like I said earlier. And now we're on to June. All right, so what are my goals this month? Well, my main goals are I have a list of items I need to do for work. That's a big thing, is getting those done. I would like to try to get them done in June so that my last few weeks in July can just be focused on, saying goodbye, rounding up and moving forward. This is the first month where I don't feel like a bunch of goals, because like I said, I'm like at the start of big life transitions within my home, within my job. So basically like everything that makes my life, right? There's big transitionings happening. So I think that's the focus, is really just going through them. And I don't really feel like I can add a lot of extra to my plate in June or July, except for just the priority here is going to be work, right? So work is definitely going to be my main priority. And I do need to buy a cabinet for my new job. and possibly a desk. So if I can buy those in June, that will be nice. They are tax write-offs, so that's always a plus that these would be write-offs because it's for my little business, but those need to happen. But yeah, I think other than that, I think my goal is just to, I don't even know how to word it. I think it's just to get up every day and do what I have to do to make these changes, right? It's just going to be a really busy and big couple months for me. That is pretty much it. I think even as I sit here and think about it, because this weekend that I just passed, Memorial Day weekend, I was like, this is my last 2-day weekend for like 2 months. So I'm ready. But, you know, there is part of me that's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much extra work, so much extra time. But, you know, there will be a little bit of extra pay as well, which I think will really help me get myself situated with an emergency fund again and just move forward in life. I hope that you guys are doing well, that you're having a good week and a good Wednesday. I thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.